Okay, I am getting everything set up, checking the audio, making sure everything's all right. Just started the stream on Rumble, waiting for Beam to start up. On Rumble, I'm going to be streaming to from Rumble Studio to Rumble and X, as well as I believe I believe it's going to be to okay, so um, D Live sounds good. I believe it's going to be to X and D Live from Rumble Studios, Rumble X Pro, and then D Live. And then on Beam, I'm going to be streaming to Beam, Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. So now I'm checking out the audio to find out what it sounds like. I'm going to check on Beam real quick. Beam sounds good. Get on Rumble, see if it's ready to go. Got my cat meowing in the background. Rumble sounds good. Now we have Old John or John Clark, whichever way you say it, depending on which channel you go to watch his stuff. Figured I would put him on here. Got some pretty cool stuff. So I'm gonna share it. X has to reload. D Live sounds good, like I said. Now, Twitch sounds good. I'm also going to let everybody on Twitch know that they've limited the amount of, I guess I call them replays now, but whatever they are, on the recorded videos thing. So from now on Twitch, I'm not recording anything. It's just live stream. After this, it's over. There's no copy of it or anything like that. I'm doing that because I'm just sick of dealing with Twitch. And in my opinion, they're lucky I'm even on here. You know what I mean? It's a waste of time to even be on that platform. So just letting everybody know there's nothing going to be up. If you want to watch my shows, then you can catch it while it's being played. But other than that, I'm not doing it. Let me check the audio. Audio sounds good on Twitch. Kick sounds good. And YouTube sounds good too. Yeah, the reason why I'm saying that is like now they only want to store like 100 MB or so of video or some shit when it comes to that. I'm like, man, that's not even. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous. Like, what the hell are they freaking actually doing? You know what I mean? Like, it's like they're making their platform worse, and then saying that people are freaking liking it a different way. I mean, how is it that people don't watch freaking the replays or the freaking a video? Or, you know, it's just retarded. Like we're supposed to believe that shit. You know what I mean? That's all I'm going to say about it. But I'll come back and we will get some music going. First, I want to put in a song, let a song play for a while so you guys can listen to it, and then I'll be back at the beginning of the hour to get this episode going. And this episode is going to be about Dr. Serge Voronov. It's going to be a part of my weird science. It's going to be one of my weird science parts of Strange Stories. So let me go ahead and put something on for you guys to listen to while I go over here and beat this cat severely. Yeah, I said it.
It's been too long and I feel the need. I got two pale hands and my head hanging low. Body shaking from my need again. There is nothing to do but turn up the gate. Starts from my feet and buzzes to my brain. I look up at the stage, getting ready for the show. Around me a crowd, we all in the know. We all hunger for the beast below. Listen to the speakers, I feel I'm in my place. You can just tell by looking at my face. Dancing with no disgrace. I'm totally addicted to bass. The bass line shooting up my spine. That bass line got me feeling fine. It's blowing up my mind. I'm totally addicted to bass. Yeah, totally addicted to bass. The city hums with a low-end glow, a pulse that only the night can show. It's in the walls, it's in the air, a vibration that pulls me everywhere. I'm chasing shadows, I'm chasing sound, a frequency that turns the world around. It's not just me, it's in the crowd. We're all addicted, totally addicted. Bass, 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 bass. Totally addicted to bass. Totally addicted to bass.
That bass line filling up my mind.
In the dark, the bassline calls, it breaks the silence. It breaks the walls of primal force. I can't ignore it, it's in my blood. It's in my core, I'm lost in the echo. I'm found in the beat, a rhythm that makes me feel complete. It's more than sound, it's more than time. It's the universe
Oops, I guess I forgot to hit loop on the song, huh? Well, sorry about that, guys. Let me see here. I can put another song in. That one might have just ended, so I got 10 more minutes to waste until the next or the top of the hour. So let's. I'm gonna do another one. I put them on different channels, or a different channel for the new ones that I just got from Mr. Robot. So I can do that on this one too. That way you guys can listen to them. These are from Mr. Robot too, by the way. He goes by Illuminati on Rumble if you guys want to check his channel out and subscribe to him. So he's got some pretty cool mix and everything. But check him out there and listen to some of his stuff. So here we go.
Come on, honey, let the good time go.
Good time to roll. Harder.
Come on, honey, let the good time roll.
when you're dead, you're done. Let the good time roll. I say let the good time roll. I don't care if you're young or old. You ought to get together and let the good time roll. Don't sit there mumbling, talking trash.
Okay, so it looks like we are almost ready. Now I've got to take John off the screen. Nice having you there, John. But it's time for you to go. So get this straightened out. I have everything up and running. I already did the audio check. Now tonight, like I said, is going to be another episode of Strange Stories. And I will be talking about Dr. Serge Voronov. Now, if nobody knows about him, he was a French surgeon, and he was known for conducting experiments involving transplantations of animal organs into humans, particularly in their genital areas. So this is it's kind of like a continuation of the ape army that I had just previously done. You can't do one without the other because a lot of the stories between the two of them gets mixed up. Like they mix, a lot of people mix the two into one story. Like this took place. I've been known to do it too. So. But that's generally what happens. So I did one episode for one doctor and then another episode for the other doctor, so that you know that we aren't always mixed up on this show, just some of the time. Well, most of the time. But not this time. Kind of. So, before I do start, I do want to mention again that I am not keeping a recorded episode on Twitch. So, I'm doing this live on Twitch, and after that, it's done. But on the rest of them, there will be a copy for a while. At least I think Kick stops or doesn't save it after a certain amount of videos. So, it kind of goes bye-bye. So we're coming to the top of the hour. So let me go ahead and get quiet for a second, and then I'll start the episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Strange Stories here on the wonderful world of weirdness. Today, I am going to do another part of my weird science area for Strange Stories, and today I am going to be discussing Dr. Serge Voronov. Now, it's just like I said before I started doing the actual show on the stream. This is a story that usually gets mixed in with Ilya Ivanovich and his ape army, which is one of the previous streams that I had done. And a lot of his story and Dr. Voronov's story gets mixed up because they're both from Russia. They both did some really weird shit. So they kind of get mixed in with one another, even though they're two separate people. So what I wanted to do is make an episode that pertained to Ilya Ivanovich, and then another one that's about this guy here, Dr. Serge Voronov. Yeah. So Serge Voronov. With that being said, I will say thank you for anybody who watches ahead of time. I have an issue sometimes being able to keep up on chat. So if you do say something in chat and I don't respond to you, I apologize, because usually I'm concentrating on my notes. That way I try to keep the story that I'm telling as accurate as I can at the time. So with that being said, I'll let you guys know ahead of time. I will be checking the chats to see if anybody says anything and try to respond to you as I go. So with that, let me get to Dr. Sergey. I called him Serge, but Sergey Voronov. Dr. Sergey Voronov, he was a French surgeon who was known for conducting experiments involving the transplantation of animal organs into humans, particularly in the realm of attempting to improve human sexuality and vitality. Now, in the early 20th century, Dr. Voronov became infamous for his experiments with testicular grafts. Okay? He believed that transplanting the testicles of young animals, particularly monkeys, into older men could rejuvenate them and improve their sexual performance and overall vitality. His idea was rooted in earlier theories of rejuvenation and eugenics, which sought to use biological interventions to enhance or restore youthfulness. Now, Voronov's procedure involved transplanting monkey testicles into human patients, claiming this would increase testosterone levels, improve libido, and reverse the aging process. He also experimented with implanting the testes of young goats or monkeys into older men, hoping to restore sexual vigor and energy. Now, while these procedures gained some popularity in the early 20th century, they were largely discredited and widely criticized by the scientific community for their lack of scientific basis and ethical concerns they raised. Which, in today's world, you can understand what those ethical concerns would be. You know what I mean? The transplantation surgeries were invasive, often resulting in complications, infections, and failure of the grafts. Now, Dr. Voronov's theories were eventually dismissed, and he became the subject of ridicule, with his rejuvenation procedures considered like pseudo-scientific and ethically questionable. His work is now largely seen as an early example of unethical experimentation in the realm of human enhancement, and he is often cited as an example of the dangers of pseudoscience in the field of medicine and biology. Now, while not exactly related to penis extensions, his experiments were part of a broader movement of attempting to enhance human sexuality and vitality through the use of animal organs, transplants, and other unproven medical techniques. Now, Dr. Voronov, he lived between 1866 and to 1951. Okay, and he was a French-Russian surgeon. He was a scientist known for his controversial experiments, like I said, of rejuvenation through gland transplantation. Now, his most infamous research involved grafting monkey testicle tissue onto human males, attempting to restore youth and vitality. Now, though he was initially celebrated for his work at the time, he later fell into obscurity as his theories were discredited by the scientific community. Okay, now like I said, he was born in Russia in 1866, and he studied medicine in France at College de France under the prominent physiologist Claude Bernard. Now, he specialized in endocrinology and transplantation, particularly focusing on the role of the testes in aging and vitality. After working as a surgeon in Egypt, where he observed castrated eunuchs and noted the effects of hormone loss, he developed an interest in glandular rejuvenation. Now, Varnoff believed that aging was caused by a decline in hormonal secretion, particularly testosterone. He theorized that glandular transplants, specifically from young, healthy animals, could restore vitality, sexual performance, and cognitive functions in aging men. His work built upon earlier research in hormonal therapy, particularly experiments involving gland transplantation in animals. Now, in the 1920s and the 1930s, Varnoff became famous for his xenotransplantation experiments, where he grafted thin slices of monkey testicle tissue onto elderly men's testicles. He claimed that these procedures resulted in increased energy and virility, enhanced sexual performance, and slowed aging. His ideas attracted wealthy clients, including aristocrats and politicians who sought the fountain of youth through his operations. Now, Varnoff attempted similar gland transplants on women too, using ovarian tissues from animals, though that had limited success. He also experimented with sheep and goats, attempting to crossbreed species using gland transplants. He proposed even more extreme procedures, including full testicular transplants from animals to humans. So he wanted to transplant the whole thing from one to the other. His procedures became widely popular in the 1920s and the early 1930s, leading to clinics opening worldwide. All right. Now, the elite and wealthy sought out his operations, believing they could reverse aging. His work inspired books, films, and even comical references. Like, he was mentioned by comedians even, including H.G. Wells. He came out with Island of Dr. Moreau, which was inspired by this guy right here, Varnoff. And he also inspired early sci-fi depictions of like human-animal hybrids and stuff like that. Now, by the late 1930s, as hormonal science advanced, Varnoff's theories were increasingly debunked. Scientists realized that testicular grafts from animals did not integrate into the human body or restore youth. With the rise of synthetic hormones such as testosterone treatments, his surgical procedures became obsolete. He was dismissed as a fraud or pseudoscientist, and his reputation eventually collapsed. After World War II, his work was largely forgotten, and he died in obscurity in 1951. Though his methods were discredited, Baranov played a role in the early history of hormonal replacement therapy, which is HRT. Now, his research contributed to the development of modern endocrinology and testosterone treatments. Now, today, his name is mostly associated with scientific quackery, but he remains a historical figure in early organ transplantation research. Now, just to set things clear, his mentor, Claude Bernard, he lived between 1813 to 1878. He did not show any known interest in gland transplantation or rejuvenation experiments like those that Sergei Baranov did. So Bernard was one of the most influential physiologists of the 19th century. Okay, but his work focused primarily on homeostasis, experimental medicine, and the scientific method rather than endocrine transplantation or rejuvenation theories. He was best known for pioneering the concept of homeostasis, the body's ability to regulate its internal environment. He also conducted groundbreaking research in the role of the liver in glucose metabolism and the function of the nervous system in digestive and circulation. Now, Bernard emphasized rigorous experimental methods, laying the foundation for modern biomedical research. His approach to physiology was systematic and mechanistic, focusing on internal bodily functions rather than speculative anti-aging treatments. Now, Baranov studied under Bernard at the College de France, where Bernard died long before Baranov began his controversial work in xenotransplantation. There is no evidence that Bernard had any interest in testicular transplants, rejuvenation theories, or hormonal anti-aging treatments. Now, Baranov's ideas were largely based on early 20th century endocrine research, which postdated Bernard's lifetime. Now, endocrinology is a field that emerged in the late 19th and early 20th century, with many scientists investigating the role of hormones in bodily functions, including aging and vitality. Now, while Sergei Baranov is one of the most infamous figures in the study of testes and rejuvenation, several other scientists also explored the connection between testicular function, aging, and health. There was Charles Edward Brown Sigward, and he lived between 1817 and 1894. And he's often called the father of modern endocrinology. Now, Brown Sigward was a French physiologist who pioneered hormone therapy. Now, in 1889, at the age of 72, he self-injected extracts from animal testes, mainly dogs and guinea pigs, and claimed it rejuvenated him, increased his energy and strength. Okay. Though later debunked, his work inspired further research into hormone replacement therapy. His testicular extract experiments laid the groundwork for the later discovery of testosterone. Testosterone. I always have a hard time saying that. I always call it testosterone, but it's actually testosterone. Now, after him, there was also Eugen Steinig. Now, he lived between 1861 and 1944, and he was an Austrian physiologist and endocrinologist who studied the effects of sex hormones on aging and vitality. He developed the Steinig operation, a procedure that involved vasectomy to stimulate testosterone production, which he claimed rejuvenated older men. Now, his theories were widely popular in the 1920s and the 1930s as well, and attracted famous patients, including Sigmund Freud. Now, while his claims were later discredited as well, his work also contributed to the discovery of the role of the testosterone, or of testosterones. So after him, we come to another guy. His name was Alfred Jost, and he lived between 1960 all the way up until 1991. He was a French endocrinologist who studied fetal sex differentiation and the role of testosterone in male development. While not focused on rejuvenation, his work clarified the biological role of testes in hormonal balance. His research helped confirm that the testes produce essential androgens that influence development and aging. Now, in 1935, Ernest Lecoeur and other researchers successfully isolated testosterone, proving it was the key male sex hormone. This discovery led to the development of testosterone replacement therapy, which is commonly called TRT, which became widely used in medicine for aging men with hormone deficiencies. Unlike earlier speculative rejuvenation techniques, modern endocrinology uses controlled doses of testosterone for conditions like hypogonadism. Hypogonadism. Your gonads. Hypogonadism. Now, during the early 20th century, some scientists and governments saw hormonal manipulation as a tool for eugenics, believing they could enhance physical and mental traits. Research into hormones and rejuvenation intersected with social Darwinism, leading to unethical experiments in Nazi Germany and other regimes that sought to manipulate reproduction and aging through hormonal treatments. Dr. Sergei Varanov closely studied castrated eunuchs, particularly in the Middle East, China, and Europe, to observe the long-term effects of hormone loss. His observations formed the foundation for his controversial testicular grafting experiments, where he sought to reverse the effect of aging and hormonal decline. Varanov noted that eunuchs were castrated before puberty, remaining physically underdeveloped with reduced muscle mass, soft, higher-pitched voices, a tendency towards obesity, slower reflexes, and energy levels. Those castrated after puberty lost muscle tone and strength over time and aged prematurely. And that's those castrated after puberty. Now, he reported that many elderly eunuchs appeared less mentally sharp, displaying slower reaction times, weakened memory, lack of motivation, or vitality. He concluded that hormones from the testes played a role in maintaining brain function and mental uh, acuity. Now, eunuchs were known to be docile and lack sexual desire after castration. Many developed depression or emotional instability, which Farinoff attributed to the loss of androgens. He theorized that testosterone regulated mood and overall well-being, not just reproduction. Farinoff also observed that castrated men often aged faster in their faster than what their non-castrated peers did. He believed this was due to the absence of testicular hormones, which he saw as essential for youthful energy and cellular regeneration. His theory restoring these was that his theory was that restoring these hormones could reverse aging and prolong life. This was based on his findings, and based on his findings, Varanoff sought a way to restore lost hormones by implanting testicular tissues from monkeys and chimpanzees into older men. His goal was to rejuvenate the body, restore sexual vitality, and slow aging. Well, this procedure did gain popularity in the 1920s and the 30s. Like I said before, they were later debunked as ineffective. Now, Dr. Sergei Varanov was a Russian-French surgeon, all right, like I previously mentioned, but I'm going to mention it again. And he became fascinated with the idea that aging could be reversed by reintroducing hormones lost over time. Now, while studying in France under Alexis Carrel, he observed advancements in tissue grafting and organ transplantation, which inspired his work. His interest in endocrinology deepened when he noticed that castrated animals and humans age prematurely due to testosterone loss. He believed that replacing or rejuvenating hormone-producing glands could restore youth, energy, and sexual vitality. Baranoff began by grafting testicles from young animals into older ones, and primarily that was between rams and goats. He reported that older animals became more energetic, muscular, and sexually active after receiving testicular tissue from younger ones. Now, encouraged by these results, he moved to human experimentation. Varanoff implanted thin slices of monkey and chimpanzee testicular tissue into elderly men's testicles. He didn't fully replace human testicles, but instead inserted animal glandular material into the scrotum, hoping it would graft and restore hormone production. Now, Varanoff reported that patients who received transplants regained sexual potency, experienced higher energy levels, had improved cognitive functions, showed reduced signs of aging, better skin tone, fewer wrinkles. His procedures gained immense popularity, like I said, in the 1920s and the 1930s. And this was mostly among wealthy men, including politicians and celebrities. And these guys were usually seeking rejuvenation operations and stuff of that nature. Varanov seriously did believe that other glands could be used for rejuvenation. He explored thyroid and adrenal gland transplants to treat aging and hormonal balances. He theorized that hormones controlled the body's vitality, and replacing worn-out glands with younger, functional ones would extend life expectancy. Now, by the 1930s, as endocrinology advanced, scientists realized Varanov's grafts didn't function as he claimed that they did. The body actually rejected the foreign tissues, and no actual hormonal benefits were proven. Now, the rise of synthetic hormone therapy like testosterone injections in the 1940s and the 1950s rendered his surgical procedures obsolete. By the time he died in 1951, his work was largely discredited as a pseudoscience. Now, while his methods were ultimately flawed, Varanov's ideas did contribute to early research in hormone replacement therapy, which is HRT, studies of testosterone's role in aging, the eventual development of synthetic testosterone for treating hormonal deficiencies, things of that nature. Now, glandular rejuvenation is the concept of restoring youth, vitality, and function by replacing or stimulating endocrine glands, organs responsible for replacing hormones that regenerate metabolism, growth, reproduction, and aging. The idea suggests that aging is caused by hormone decline, and replacing lost hormones can reverse aging effects. Now, early pioneers believed that transplanting glandular tissues or using hormonal extracts could restore lost function in aging individuals. Now, like I mentioned before, there was Charles Edward Brown, Sagard, and he was one of the first scientists to suggest that hormones controlled aging and vitality. Now, in 1889, he injected himself with extracts from dog and guinea pig testicles. If you guys remember, I mentioned that just now. He claimed that it increased strength and libido. And this is where I would personally tell you that I personally don't care what time period it is, I will not inject anything that's from a dog or guinea pig, or especially their testicles, into me. And he did this voluntarily on his own, to himself, So that kind of sticks out to me when I hear that. Now, I need to stay on focus. Now, while the effects were placebo-driven, this led to further interest in hormone therapy and glandular rejuvenation. Now, in the 1920s, Sergei Varanov became famous with transplanting monkey testicle tissues into human men. And that was to restore sexual vigor in youth. He believed that testicles produced youth-giving secretions, and that would eventually be considered testosterone, and that grafting fresh glands could restore hormonal balance. Now, while his experiments were scientifically flawed, they did influence later research in endocrinology. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because it was just like in my previous episode um, about what is it, Ilya Ivanovich Ivanov. You know, we still have people doing this kind of research today. You know what I mean? And this is their origins. This is where they came from. You know what I mean? This is research with monkeys and orangutans and their genetics and their freaking grafting their skin on our penises and things of that nature. So it's just, people think that everything's cut and clear and clean and that the world is just hunky dory, but they don't understand why we have the life we have today. You know what I mean? This is how all that started. This is all about male enhancement. You know what I mean? All those cool commercials you see on TV, and she'll like it too. You know, just putting it out there. This is where all that comes from. You see. So let me see. Grafting fresh glands could restore hormonal balance. Now, Austrian scientist Eugen Steinbach proposed that blocking sperm release via vasectomy forced the testicles to produce more testosterone. Some believe that this procedure delayed aging, though later studies debunked this claim as well. The famous writer Sigmund Freud underwent a Steinach vasectomy, hoping to prolong his life. As scientific understanding improved, researchers moved away from surgical transplants and towards synthetic hormone therapy. Now, in the 1930s and to the 1950s, they saw the discovery of synthesis of testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, and growth hormone. Now, scientists realized that direct hormone therapy was more effective than glandular transplants. Testosterone replacement therapy, which is TRT, became a treatment for male aging and testosterone deficiency. Estrogen and progesterone therapies were developed for menopausal women to prevent bone loss and aging symptoms. In the 1990s, human growth hormone, which is HGH therapy, gained popularity as an anti-aging treatment. Some studies suggested HGH injections could increase muscle mass, reduce fat, and improve skin elasticity. However, long-term studies found risks like cancer growth, insulin resistance, and heart disease. Today, glandular rejuvenation is based on scientific endocrinology, using targeted therapies rather than crude surgical methods. Now, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, which is BHRT, uses hormones chemically identical to natural human hormones. It also treats menopause, andropause, and thyroid disorders. It can be administered through creams, injections, or pills. Stem cell therapy aims to regrow or regenerate hormone producing glands like the pancreas for diabetes or ovaries for menopause, which that's kind of scary. Just putting it out there, that is kind of scary when you think about it. Now, research in pituitary gland regeneration could one day restore natural hormone production. Certain nutrients like iodine for thyroid health and DHEA supplements for adrenal function are used to support glandular function. Exercise, diet, and stress management play critical roles in natural hormonal balance. Although early glandular rejuvenation techniques such as testicle transplants were largely scientifically invalid, they did pave the way for hormone replacement therapy, which is HRT, as well as synthetic testosterone, estrogen, and growth hormone therapies. That also includes stem cell research for gland regeneration and anti-aging medicines based on endocrinology. Now, before hormones were fully understood, early scientists explored organ extracts and glandular transplants to restore lost functions in aging and diseased individuals. The earliest hormone therapies were based on crude extracts from animal glands. That would be Brown Sigard, a French physiologist who I had already mentioned, who is also considered one of the pioneers of hormone therapy. At the age of 72, like I said before, and I'm going to say it again, he injected himself with a mixture of crushed dog and guinea pig testicles, claiming that he gained increased strength and cognitive functions. Now, while his results were likely placebo effects, his experiments led to a widespread interest in endocrine gland research. Now, throughout the 19th and the 20th centuries, researchers experimented with glandular transplants in animals to study rejuvenation and hormonal effects. Steinhardt believed that blocking sperm release through vasectomy forced the testicles to produce more testosterone, enhancing vitality and youth. He conducted vasectomy experiments on rats and guinea pigs, claiming they became more energetic and sexually active. Now, his theories gained support, and even Sigmund Freud underwent the procedure, though it was later debunked, as ineffective for rejuvenation. I do find it odd that Sigmund Freud actually went through with it. He was supposed to be one of the great thinkers of the time, and he's going and taking this treatment. This is the same man that said that if Carl Jung kept evaluating him, he was going to have him discredited because he didn't like what Carl Jung was saying about him. They were supposed to be like two of the best friends, and he allowed him to do an evaluation on him, a psych evaluation, and he literally told him that he needed to stop, or he would have to have him discredited for what he was saying. The same man that said that went and got this operation. I just find that pretty odd. Now, Varanov transplanted chimpanzees and baboon testicles into aging rams, bulls, and goats. The animals appeared more active and muscular, leading him to claim success. He later moved on to human experiments, grafting monkey testicular tissue onto men, though it lacks scientific basis. Scientists tested thyroid transplants from goats and sheep into dogs to treat hypothyroidism. Okay? Pancreatic transplants from pigs to dogs were attempted to regenerate blood sugar in diabetic animals. Now, while most transplants failed due to the immune rejection, they laid the groundwork for modern hormone therapies and xenotransplantation research. Now, while gland transplants proved unreliable, scientists isolated and synthesized hormones, leading to modern endocrinology. Now, sheep thyroid extracts were successfully used to treat hypothyroidism in dogs and humans. This marked the first effective hormone replacement therapy. That's HRT. Now, Frederick Banting and Charles Bess extracted insulin from dog pancreas glands to treat diabetes in animals. This led to the first life-saving hormone therapy for humans. Scientists extracted testosterone from bull testicles, later synthesizing it for male hormone therapy. This eliminated the need for testicular transplants, which had been ineffective. Earlier gland transplants lacked scientific controls and often relied on anecdotal reports, The discovery of hormones and their chemical synthesis replaced outdated transplantation methods. Today, synthetic hormone replacement is the standard for treating endocrine deficiencies and age-related issues. Now, Sergei Varanov is most infamous for his monkey testicle transplants into aging men, but he also explored glandular transplants in women, though with less publicity and even less scientific basis. Varanov believed age-related decline in men and women was caused by hormonal deficiencies, particularly in the gonads, the testes in men, and the ovaries in women. Now, since his monkey testicle transplants gained attention, he saw a similar procedure for female rejuvenation. Varanov theorized that aging women could regain youth, sexual vitality, and overall health by transplanting fresh ovarian tissues from younger individuals or animals. In some cases, he grafted ovarian tissues from young women into older women to see if it restored fertility and hormonal balance. He also experimented with primate ovaries, attempting to graft monkey ovarian tissues into women, similar to his testicle grafts in men. Now, Varanov claimed that his female patients experienced increased energy and vitality, improved skin elasticity and appearance, enhanced libido and sexual function, possible restoration of menstruation and menopausal women. However, no scientific validation supports these claims, and the results were largely anecdotal. Now, the immune system of human patients rejected the primate ovarian tissue. Patients showed no real rejuvenation beyond short-term placebo effects. Using animal ovaries in human women was highly controversial even at that time. Unlike his well-documented male transplants, Varanoff's work on women was less studied and rarely discussed in scientific circles. Now, by the 1930s, scientific advancement in hormone isolation like estrogen and testosterone proved more effective than gland transplants. As a result, hormone therapy replaced Varanoff's gland grafting experiments. Uh, Now, Varanoff's experiments with sheep and goats were an extension of his broader interest in glandular transplants and hybridization, where he sought to test the effects of cross-species endocrine grafting. His goal was to explore whether transplanting glands from one species into another could induce physiological changes, including potential hybridization effects without traditional breeding. Now, Varanoff attempted to graft testicles and other glands from goats onto sheep and vice versa, to see if this altered their growth, metabolism, or fertility. He implanted goats' testes into sheep and sheep testes into goats in hopes that the hormones produced would influence the host animal's traits. Some records indicate that he also transplanted ovaries and thyroid glands between the two species. He theorized that the transplanted glands might induce hybrid characteristics in the host animals, despite them not being genetically crossbred. Now, Varanoff was testing the idea that glandular secretion, which is hormones, were more influential than genetics in determining biological traits. Sheep with goat testicles would develop goat-like traits such as greater agility or different wool texture. Goat recipients of sheep glands might exhibit sheep-like behaviors or growth patterns. The endocrine system alone might override genetic barriers, possibly enabling interspecies traits. This concept was in line with the earlier endocrine-driven theories of heredity and development, which were later debunked in favor of modern genetics. The results of Varanoff's experiments were not well documented, but some of the animals survived with functional transplants, suggesting that hormonal activity from foreign glands could influence the host animal's physiology. However, no real hybridization occurred. The animals did not take on the traits of the donor species in any significant way. Now, the immune response and rejection remained a major problem, making the procedure largely ineffective. These experiments on sheep and goats influenced Varanoff's ideas about human rejuvenation. He believed transplanting young or vigorous animal glands into humans could restore youth or enhance longevity. Now, his work laid the groundwork for later hormonal therapies, though his methods were ultimately discredited. The history of hormone replacement therapy, HRT, and testosterone treatments dates back to early medical experiments in the 19th and early 20th century, where scientists first recognized the role of hormones in aging, vitality, and reproductive function. The pursuit of hormonal rejuvenation led to a series of experimental treatments, some scientifically groundbreaking and others highly controversial. One of the earliest recorded hormonal replacement experiments was conducted by Brown Sigard, a French physiologist. Now, like I said before, at the age of 72, he injected himself with a serum made from crushed dog and guinea pig testicles. Now, he believed that this would restore youth and strength. Now, hold on, I got to pause this real quick. I have some issues going on. I'll be right back. Okay, hold on. Never mind. So now highly controversial. One of the earliest. Yeah, I already did that. Now, at the age of 72, he injected himself with a serum made of crushed dogs and guinea pig testicles, like I said, believing it would restore youth and strength. Now, he reported an increase in energy, muscle strength, and mental clarity, which sparked a medical movement around organotherapy. The idea that extracts from animal organs could rejuvenate human health. Now, later analysis showed that his testicular extracts contained little active testosterone, and his results were largely placebo-driven. Now, inspired by Brown Sigard, Vernoff took the concept further. He grafted testicle tissues from primates, particularly chimpanzees and baboons. But he grafted those testicular tissues into human men to restore their virility and reverse aging. Now, his patients reportedly experienced an increase in libido, energy, and overall well-being, but the process lacked scientific validity and fell out of favor as endocrinology advanced. Now, in 1927, scientists identified androsterone, an early form of testosterone, from urine samples. Now, in 1935, German chemists Adolf Butenandt and Leopold Ruzicka successfully synthesized pure testosterone, marking the beginning of modern androgen therapy. The ability to synthesize testosterone led to its medical application in treatment hypogonadism, which is low testosterone levels, delayed puberty, and muscle wasting conditions. Testosterone injections became available in the late 1930s, primarily for treating men with low testosterone production. Now, like I said before, when it comes to World War II, there were things that took place there. World War II soldiers were given testosterone to boost endurance and recovery. Now, some early bodybuilders and athletes experimented with testosterone for muscle growth, setting the stage for later performance-enhancing drug use. Testosterone treatments became a standard therapy for age-related testosterone decline in older men. Synthetic anabolic steroids, derivatives of testosterone, were developed leading to their widespread use in sports, bodybuilding, and medical treatment for muscle wasting diseases. Now, we go from, doctors Sergey Baranov to steroids, So you kind of put the dots together on where this stuff originated and what it contributed to throughout history, I'll just leave it at that. So by the 1970s and 1980s, research began exploring testosterone replacement therapy, which is TRT, for men with age-related testosterone decline, though concerns about cardiovascular risk did emerge. Testosterone therapy became more refined with new delivery methods such as gels, patches, and slow-release injections. Men's health clinics began promoting testosterone optimization for vitality, energy, and libido. Studies explored testosterone's impact on cognition, bone density, heart health, and mental well-being. There's also controversies that continued over misuse in athletics, potentially cardiovascular risk, and ethical concerns surrounding testosterone therapy in aging men. Not to mention the fact that HGH, human growth hormones, are highly addictive. That's one thing that I do know from being in recovery and being around people who are addicted to the steroids and the lifting weights. Okay, like I was never that kind of a drug addict, but understand when I say there are drug addicts who are weightlifters and they're addicted to it. These people have to stay away from eugenics. They have to stay away from GNC because even when they take those powders, it just stimulates them to where they need to have more. It's like with me, if I turn around and smoke pot, I'm going to want something harder eventually. So it's going to start out with pot, maybe alcohol, then freaking pot, whichever. But eventually I'm going to want to go to the stronger drugs. It's not going to be enough, you know what I mean? And that's the kind of thing that happens with people who are addicted to steroids. They don't just do it for the body mass. They literally become addicted to it. So that's another thing that's a problem. And the thing of it is it's like all of this and all of this crazy Frankenstein science in medicine, starting out with Dr. Sergey Baranov and Ivanov and his ape soldiers. All of this is what we have today when it comes to progress in scientific knowledge. This is where it came from. This is the kind of stuff that people don't hear about. You know what I mean? This is the kind of things that was going on behind closed doors back in the day when stuff like this wasn't supposed to have been going on. I find it pretty fascinating. And today, when you have conversations about this, these two people in particular, they say, "Oh, that wasn't true. That wasn't true. That was just made up." And no, it was true. It wasn't made up. And I think that's what really is amazing to me, that people don't believe this. This, what I'm saying here, none of this in the last two streams I've done has anything to do with conspiracy. It has nothing to do with any kind of paranormal or UFO or anything type of experience like that. This is 100% legit. This is documented to have happened, okay? There is nothing that isn't freaking scientific that I've mentioned here. Well, I'm not going to say scientific. It actually happened historically. Okay, um, so if you don't believe me, check it out. Go do the research. You'll find out. You'll find out real quick that this stuff is real, and it did happen. So um, it's like I always say, don't believe me. Don't believe Joe Blow down the street. Don't even believe your best friend. Okay, don't believe them. The best thing for you to do is listen to what they have to say, and then find out for yourself if it's true or if it's not. Because that's the only way you're going to learn. Is if you check things out for yourself. Pick up a book and read, Google it, something. You know what I mean? Find out the information, see if it's true or not, and go from there. So, I mean, that's really all that I wanted to say here. I've been wanting to do this one as well as my stream for Ivanova. Ivanov or Ivanov. Yeah, I've been wanting to do these two because back in the day, man, I used to get the stories mixed up. At one time, I had heard both stories, and I actually thought that they were both part of the same story, but in reality, they were two separate people that were doing their own thing. You know what I mean? So let me go through and find out if I got a freaking a like from Tan on X. Thanks, Tan, for liking the stream. I appreciate that very much. And let's see. I don't think I have anything else going on right now. I think Mark said something to me. Oh, Chemical Summer said on YouTube, I will be, what is it? She said, wow, you're American. Yes, I'm American. She's from the UK. I've stumbled across this while stoned. And then information is put out there. Just depends on how you interpret it. Huh. Yep, you're right. That's exactly what it is. It's better for you to find it on your own because nobody's going to tell you the truth. I mean, you're the only one that's going to be able to differentiate the truth from the false yourself. You may think that the stuff you're watching on TV is telling you the truth, but trust me, it's not. It's got something involved. You know what I mean? Some kind of propaganda hooked up to it, some motive behind why they're saying what they're saying. So the best thing for you to do is find the information yourself, and hopefully you'll be able to understand what's being said, and you'll be able to draw your own conclusions. And if you have a hard time understanding something, read it again. That's just because there's a lot of stuff out there that's hard to understand, but that just means you have to read it again and take it a little bit slower so you can figure it out. Because that's the way things work when you're trying to find out the truth. You're wanting to actually look at what's being said and determining what's being said first off, and finding out the truth that way. Yep, you're right. She said the world is always lying to us through TV, man, and I agree with you. So thank you very much for putting comments into the comments section. I appreciate that. I don't get too many people who come in and actually talk and chat, so that is a big deal for me. So thank you for doing that. Let me see here. Yep. So it looks like we have covered everything, and I am going to go ahead and end the stream here, and because I've run out of stuff to talk about. I really don't want to talk about monkey testicles anymore. I've had my I've had my hour and a half of testicle fun for the day. So I am really glad that you guys showed up to listen. If you guys want to check the wonderful world of weirdness out, you can check it out on YouTube. You can check it out on Rumble. You can also check it out, or you can check my channels out. Thank you very much, Chemical Summer. She said good night, and good night to you too. Thank you. And you can also check me out on Beam as well as on X. Now on X, I'm Roger Hanson at ROGLOL1973. Now DLive, you can check me out there too. I am on DLive as Live with the Roger Hanson, and Twitch, yeah, whatever, whatever. You're not going to be able to see any videos there of me whatsoever. That's recorded. I've stopped doing that. They've done some crazy stuff on there. So what basically is when I'm live on there, you can watch the show, but there's not going to be a recorded version afterwards. They've dropped the whole I forgot what they call it now. They call it like I can easily just video producer highlights. That's what it is. They've like given like a certain amount of memory for highlights, and I'm like, whatever, dude. I'm just not dealing with it. So if you can catch me live on Twitch, go for it. You know what I mean? I'll be there, but I'm not really. I'm trying not to be upset about it. It's just ridiculous, It really is. Like, it's just completely ridiculous. But anyhow, I'm also on Kick. If you guys want to check me out there, you can check me out under Roger_Hanson. So, and since I've done a plug on myself, I am done. I'm going to end this and say thank you and have a good night. I hope you guys enjoyed.